3 more episodes of Andor, and I'm once again feeling overwhelmed by the amount of content they're packing into this show. I said it last week, I'm going to say it again, it feels like this show could appeal to a much broader audience than just the general Star Wars audience. You could almost not be a Star Wars fan, and I think still enjoy watching Andor for its political intrigue, for its spy thriller themes. And I think that was what was most striking to me about these 3 latest episodes. I felt so caught up in the small nuances of these characters' lives, what they're dealing with in the broader Star Wars world, that at times I was forgetting it was even a Star Wars show. We are so far from the lightsaber wielding Jedi versus Sith Star Wars that we've been so used to ever since 1977. But in the case of Andor, I think that's a really positive thing, as we're once again exploring the more subtle, more intricate details of the Empire's grasp on the galaxy and their oppression of it. Today I'm going to be reviewing and going over my thoughts on Andor Season 2 episodes 4 to 6. This video will definitely contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen them yet, go watch the episodes first and then come back and watch this. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. Interestingly, even though I said there is so much going on in this show and it feels like they're packing in so much content, it still felt like these 3 episodes were a lot of setup for what is to come. There's so much dialogue to digest in this show. At times I was like, okay, concentrate, listen to what they're saying, otherwise you're gonna miss a crucial narrative detail. And to start today off, I really want to talk about Syril and his character and what he's being put through. There were times I was questioning who Syril is actually aligned to, what he truly believes in, and where his allegiance lies. He, for a while in this arc, was convincing me that he was sympathetic to the Gormans, that he understood that they were trying to create, I guess, their own rebellion. And even though he's on basically a double mission, let's go with that, acting as a spy for Gerrera and Partakaz, I thought perhaps because of how convincing he was that he was literally on the side of the Gormans. He understood what they were going through and genuinely wanted to help them in the face of justice. What was interesting, I thought, was that he even went as far to lie to his mother on the phone regarding his activities there to convince the Gormans that he was working for them. It's so multi-layered and makes me marvel at how everyone is going behind everyone's back in this show. Everyone has their own agenda in some way, even though, yes, the rebels are fighting for the greater cause of the rebellion and for overthrowing the Empire, even though the Empire, of course, wanting to maintain power and glory throughout the galaxy, but everyone is kind of betraying and double-crossing everyone and sneaking behind everyone's back. I feel like it's safe to assume that at some point Director Krennic is going to throw Gerrera under the bus, that he is also playing her for the sake of building the Death Star for the sake of the Emperor, while she is playing the ISB. You've got Syril working for her, who's playing the rebels and the Gormans. Everyone's gone behind someone's back, and it's fascinating to watch, but also so convoluted. And again, I think it's so impressive they can write this style of intricate story within Star Wars, that it exists in Star Wars. Really interesting to see the Gormans and what they're all about. Also interesting learning of the Tarkin massacre, which occurred here. This is, I think, what was in Star Wars Legends was the Gorman massacre, which we all thought we were going to see in the show, but at this point has already happened, meaning the Gormans are likely going to go through a second massacre, and that's what we're going to be seeing, I'm assuming, at the end of the next series of 3 episodes, next arc. That's going to be kind of building up to the climax of the series, and will be the turning point of the galaxy, one of the foundational moments for the rebellion. And so interesting hearing Luthen refer to this, with Andor questioning him, asking,
"It goes up in flames? It will burn very brightly."
Luthen is literally willing to do whatever it takes. The monologue he gave in Season 1 is once again coming to the forefront here, and we're reminded that he will do everything. Kind of wild, isn't it? Luthen is willing to sacrifice Gorman, to sacrifice the planet, to make them an example of what the Empire are truly up to, how they're taking control over the galaxy, how they're oppressing people, oppressing populations. Luthen knows that to create the rebellion he dreams of, to take down the Empire, he may need to even go as far as sacrificing an entire planet. It's dark stuff. It's war. That in itself is what this show is all about. We're seeing how the war and how the Empire and how, I guess, the start of the rebellion is affecting every character in the series. How everyone is stressed out of their minds, oppressed, and has to sneak around in the shadows. We see this with Mon Mothma, with her dealing with other senators, trying to get votes to sway the Empire one way or the other. We see this with Lonnie working as a spy from within the ISB. The scene he had with Claire trying to remove the listening device stashed in one of their antiques while director Krennic is in the room, I thought was incredible. So cool to watch this. The balls of Clea, the guts to be able to do that. My gosh, I was kind of like, she is fearless. She is absolutely fearless. I really also enjoyed the small moments between her and Luthen. And I really like their relationship. They're both willing to sacrifice anything and everything to do what it takes. She is basically an extension of Luthen. Both of them seem to have full trust over one another. I'm curious if that will continue into the second half of the season and what fate both of them will meet. But I really enjoyed their argument over the fact that their listening device was going to be uncovered.
I wouldn't be so upset if I hadn't predicted it.
This solves nothing.
For what? What have we ever heard?
Are you done?
I enjoy the tension. I enjoy seeing them both challenge one another, both challenging that they're going insane, that they're going too far, that they're pushing too far, that they're working too hard, that they're too anxious and too wound up about what they've done, the decisions they've made. They're both constantly at conflict with one another.
You agreed to it.
I'll let you talk me into it.
You're becoming insufferable.
I can't keep track anymore.
And it was really nice seeing at the end of the 6th episode as well, their little moment where the tension was relieved and Luthen makes the joke that they should have killed Director Krennic while they were in the room with him.
You should have killed Krennic while we were up there.
That's the spirit.
It's such a nice moment, I think, to end the episode and to kind of just cut through the ice of what they've just been through. And I feel it just makes the characters so much more relatable. They feel real because of this kind of joke, and I can't praise the writing of this show enough. Also, I found it quite hard to watch the scenes with Bix. Man, she has been through so much. I mean, every character in this show has been through hell, but her and Cassian in particular just seem to constantly be dragged through the mud. Like they just can't get out of it. And here, with what happened in the previous arc, I guess, and with the end scene of her basically escaping a rape, we see her struggling. We see her still dealing with the after effects of that, the after effects of her being tortured by Dr. Gorst, how attached she is to Cassian, but still seeks her own independence and freedom. Interesting seeing drug abuse in Star Wars as well. This show's going so many places, man. Last week we had the rape scene. This week we're getting drug abuse on screen. And Bix taking what I think are some kind of death sticks. You want to buy some death sticks? Bix has bought plenty of them. Interesting also Luthen acknowledging this, saying that they help at the start and they can help for a while with, I guess, numbing her pain and stopping her nightmares of Dr. Gorst. But in the end, the drugs are what wins and you'll only be left more miserable, more broken. Cool seeing her get redemption at the end though, and I'm wondering if there's going to be any consequence to this, because I feel like Cassian and Bix have gone and killed Dr. Gorst without the permission of Luthen, without the permission of the greater cause. This was just them getting revenge, essentially, and surely there'll be repercussions to this, unless they're just going to be on the run. Interesting that they're living on Coruscant, didn't expect that, but also, I don't know, man, it feels like something more will come of this. I'm really glad they went and did this. It's pretty badass watching Bix, especially as she's walking out, and just shoot that other trooper as he's coming to stop her and say she can't be here.
Who are you? Nobody's allowed in here.
Torturing Dr. Gorst, of course, as well, and basically getting that ultimate revenge. You gotta love a good revenge story. I wonder if this will help her sleep better at night, though. I wonder if this will finally end the nightmares and if she'll turn the page after this, because the last few arcs for Bix, going back to season 1 as well, have been pretty awful. She's been through a lot. I really love also that they're basically explaining why Saw Gerrera is such a madman. And he even explains it himself in saying that, "You think I'm crazy? I am crazy." I laughed at that.
You think I'm crazy? Yes, I am.
Him justifying it by saying it takes someone crazy to be revolutionary and to start a revolution and to do what he is. And it's kind of, we also got some more context and backstory to him in explaining how he had a past with Rhydonium and how it burns your skin. His descriptions of it are quite vivid, and it's cool getting that extra detail about where I guess he came from, why he's doing what he's doing, and what motivates him. Also, him talking of the rebellion and him talking about how they'll all be dead by the time the Republic is back. So why do they fight for it? Why are they fighting for the cause? Because they know it's for the greater good. Such an interesting character, such a developed character, and someone who we basically saw the end of in Rogue One, but we're seeing so much more development here. His execution of the other mechanic was also brutal and unexpected, revealing that he'd been a spy. And interesting that he's clever enough. Like, he knew that by giving him the name of a false location that they were targeting with whatever bomb they're creating, that he'd be able to potentially get intel to see if this guy was lying and working for the Empire. And it turned out he was. And so he popped him in the face.
And if I don't show up back home... Traitor!
Also, I thought it was really cool seeing Cassian as Varian Sky, undercover as a fashion designer. Such a funny idea, but I guess fits into the theme of Gorman and them being heavy in the, silk industry, I believe, using the spider silk to create garments and cloth and clothes. But I love how well he plays the character. We're seeing him go full undercover, be a full spy. Dedra and Syril's relationship is also just as weird as it was in the last arc. It's hard seeing them in the room together, honestly, but somehow I can't look away. Still, my eyes are glued to the screen every time they're on screen, but it's also incredibly painful. At this point, it feels like Syril will do almost anything for Dedra as he's working for her as a spy, and is incredibly disappointed when he gets back to Coruscant and they're only, for whatever reason, able to spend an hour together. And she tells him to turn off the lights. And I'm so glad they showed no more than this, because that's enough. That's all I want to see, man.
Turn out the lights.
Can't believe you had me followed.
Turn out the lights.
Funny interaction though, and the power play is really there. She certainly wears the boots in this relationship.
Excellent work.
Syril.
If I say this is the greatest day of my life, does it spoil everything?
It's good to see you happy.
Their interaction in this scene is so weird, man. She's just like totally put off by what he's just said, but also, I don't know, pleased that he's happy, I guess. It's weird, man. Another standout moment for me that I never thought we'd see is Mon Mothma arguing with Director Krennic. The tension in this scene, I think, was the perfect background to what was really going on with Clea trying to remove the listening device, but also being intercut with the Gorman heist. I thought was so clever. At each point, I just wanted to see more of the other scene, and it kind of drip-fed each scene to you. Maybe it went for just a little bit too long, but the payoff was, I thought, rewarding. And then we unfortunately have the death of Cinta. I enjoyed seeing her relationship with Vel, seeing how confusing it was for the both of them, seeing how they were torn apart by the greater good. And once again, the cause, the fighting for the rebellion is what took them apart. And now that they've been brought back together, it was only natural that one of them had to be killed off. But the fact Cinta died, not even at the hands of the Empire, but at the hands of an incompetent, cocky kid who is going to regret this for the rest of his life, and Vel makes sure of it, is kind of a tragedy in itself, and is just collateral damage of the war and of what the Empire are doing to the galaxy, the tension they're creating, the stranglehold they have. Interesting that both Vel and Cinta urged that no one else bring weapons to this heist, and yet of course the cocky kid who didn't listen to them in the meeting, who you could see was resistant to their orders, brought a blaster, and things didn't even really go wrong, and we still get the death of this character. It's tragic, and that's, I think, what makes it beautiful and special and symbolic and powerful in this moment. It's not always just the Empire that's doing the killing. It's the broader effect they're having on the galaxy and of the people of the galaxy. I also just want to point out some of the really cool world building small details we got in these few episodes. Good morning, Coruscant. What are they doing?
Good morning, Coruscant.
It's that time of the year, Toffee.
It's cool that they're giving it that 1970s aesthetic as well, as if they're trying to position this in the 70s when the original Star Wars was made and kind of give it that vibe and that aesthetic. I thought that was a neat detail, even the way the TV looks. I also really love Clea's communication device. That thing she has in the antiques dealership is so cool. The way she pulls out the drawer and then twists all the knobs and buttons to start listening in and communicate, plugs things in. It's got such a sweet retro vibe to it, but it's all mechanical and clicky, and it just feels so satisfying to use. And it's tech like that that I think sets Star Wars apart. It feels so Star Wars, and I think that's what I appreciate about it. It feels like the original trilogy. It's not like she has an LED screen and she's using a touch screen or anything. No, it's like old school, plug this, click that, and now we're listening. Another small detail I wanted to bring up that's world building kind of stuff was Andor and Bix's interaction when they're touching each other's hands. there's something so incredibly sensual about whatever ritual they're performing here that I think is supposed to be them connecting in this way. Maybe this is something from Ferrix, a Ferrix tradition of intimacy that they are developed. I don't know. A show like this, I feel, could have just, you know, shown them kissing or shown them hugging, and that could have been enough. But they've gone to the extra effort of being like, no, they have this very specific way of creating intimacy between one another. And it's that extra effort that I think is so fascinating, that they go to create this extra lore. And it seems so much more intimate than maybe even just them kissing, which we see in episode 6. It felt like they were connecting in a different way, in a way that we understand through touch, but just, I don't know. I was really captivated by seeing that. And I think it just, because it came out of nowhere, I didn't expect it and I didn't really know what it was, apart from the fact they were just connecting on a deeper level. Those were the big details that stood out to me. Dakar, really cool seeing Dakar back, sequel planet back, and clearly has more origins with the rebellion than we first thought. But what else did you notice about the show? Did you like these few episodes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Watch this video for more Star Wars. Come follow me on Instagram, Twitter, join my Discord and TikTok, subscribe, and
stay bombastic.